Pecha Kucha 130, Johhny Hiro, and the Time Machine. Those are two different things. Johhny Hiro, The Skills to Pay the Bills, and the Time Machine, a H.G. Wells adaptation of a H.G. Wells book from the Dobbs Moreau team that have previously done things like Sherlock Holmes and stuff. But before that, I did finish reading Our Cancer Year on the bus, like I said I would. I highly recommend it just if you want to read a comic book that's about real people dealing with real problems. That's also quite interesting. It just shows you that you don't have to be writing about superheroes. Although, you know what, if you want to sell comics, they should probably wear capes. So Johhny Hiro, something I saw in the library, and I flicked through it for a couple of seconds, and I thought, you know what, this looks like it's going to be a safe pair of hands. I think it's the Fred Chow, the guy who created this, is Asian American, and it's reflected in his art style, which is maybe 3 parts manga, 1 part not. It's about a dude who's a sushi chef who ends up in situations with giant monsters, but is mostly concerned with having a girlfriend and being awesome with her. It's interesting. It's a frivolous book that also has kind of deep things going on. The main character's chef has this checkered past, and this is a dude who stole all of that guy's money, but he did it so he could look after his dying mother, which is a very real world kind of excuse for embezzlement. So yeah, the book is simultaneously shallow and deep. I like that. One thing I notice is if you look at the top right hand dude, his face seems a bit stretched, at least to my eyes. I see this happen every once in a while on some pages. Maybe the art's been mirrored and that's why it's like that. But yeah, I don't know. A small hiccup, Johhny Hiro. I highly recommend you find that stuff if you can. So the Avengers, The Last White Event is just another one of those Avengers books I don't expect it to be good, and unfortunately I'm right. It's a shame because you look at all the people on the cover and you think, how could you screw up a story with this many people? And it's very easy. You don't use any of them. This is a story about some loser dude being given superpowers so powerful that in fact all of the Avengers at the same time can't even mess up his hair. But he has no personality, and he doesn't go on a journey to develop. There's no character growth, even though he's a brand new character. And if you look at the characters in the picture on the left-hand side, I swear to God, I didn't realize half of these people were even in the comic. So many people have one line, and the art is so good. It's just a shame that this story goes nowhere. And the Avengers are assholes to this guy as well. So the second half of the book is some kind of faux heist movie thing where a few of the Avengers go to, I'm going to assume it's Madripoor, to stop some kind of illegal arms deal, and it's some kind of cloak and dagger thing. It's fun, and it benefits from that. Again, the art is really good. And there's some Bruce Lee guy, and he couldn't be more Bruce Lee. I should have shown you the picture where he pulled out the nunchucks as well. He's the highlight of this entire trade paperback. A stone cold ripoff of Bruce Lee. I don't know what's going on, I never will. This is one to miss, and it's a shame because the artwork is phenomenal. But not all Marvel books are created equal. The Mighty Thor, this one was worth reading. It takes place just after the massive global event I can't remember the name of because I don't care. Odin's brother comes back from wherever gods go to in exile, and he mashes up everything. And this is what takes place afterwards. But the book actually starts with a prequel to that, when Odin is young and has 2 eyes. His brother, who is technically nameless yet has a name, and his name is Kull or something. He is the new king, and then he becomes a tyrant, and then Odin realizes he has to beat his brother. But what this trade paperback is actually about is the fact that Thor is dead, because that's what it took to kill Odin's brother. And as you'd expect in a superhero story, Thor is dead for about 2 issues, and then he's back in a new costume. But the art's good, it's an interesting story, the characterization is good. The best part about it is when Thor dies, his memory is replaced by this guy called Tartarus. So everybody remembers Tartarus as Thor. They don't know Thor is dead, and the only person who realizes something is wrong is Loki. Thor's brother, who is a child for some reason, but I don't care because it just works for the story. So Loki and the Silver Surfer go on this weird adventure to remember Thor, and they find his hammer. And it's just fun and stupid, and it's like, this is where Marvel books tend to do their best work and be the most endearing, when when it's just like childish. I don't know why Silver Surfer's wearing pants, but it's funny, so it's fine. Right, so the Time Machine, H.G. Wells adaptation, and a lot like the last one I read, which was The Invisible Man. I'm not sure if the problems with this book are the problems of the short story itself, or if it's the adaptation. So I'm not going to talk about it too much. It's such a small bloody comic as well. It's a shame it's hardback. The artwork is really good. It's yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it. I would like to be able to draw at the level of this guy. He's a very safe pair of hands, but the story itself is basically the main character gets in his time machine and he kind of narrates everything out loud in the future as he's running away from these golem things that are trying to eat him. It fatigued me to just have him constantly give a running commentary of the story, because basically the artist didn't have the time to draw what needed to be shown if it was to be visually shown, because there's too much very specific information. Right, so sad clown of the week is my Friday, where I was on my security training course, and I swear to God I showed up at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I left about maybe 2:30, 3:30 in the afternoon, and nothing happened in between those hours. The most productive hour of the entire day was my lunch break, when I went down the road and discovered a comic book store that I hadn't realized had switched the side of the street it was on many years ago. I just thought it had closed, and I went in there and I bought a copy of Luther, which I've spoken about maybe a couple of months ago, because I was looking to buy that after reading it. I sat in that classroom on that Friday morning talking to the guy sitting in front of me for about 3 hours about Brexit and how everybody hates Britain, because he's like French and American, and how basically come next week we're all fucked. So yeah, definitely not the best way to end the week, but I did get my comic books, and that's the important thing, you know. Brexit be damned, right? So that brings us to the end of Pecha Kucha 130. There might be some artwork by me next week. The security course might stop being full-time, I don't know, but we'll see. That's for Pecha Kucha 131. See you next time.